I'm the one-man army, ain't showing. I never been tooken out. I keep MCs looking out. I drop signs like Crosby dropping babies, enough to make a nigga go crazy. In the G building, taking all types of medicines. Your ass thought you were better than.
Alright, yo, what's up, man? It's your boy, Hip Hop Gamer, and it's gangster right now, son. I'm with the producer of Thor. Now, how many of y'all been waiting for this game? Trust me, I know, because I've been waiting too. So, Steven, man, what's up? Like, Thor is here. Sega's been doing a whole lot of, like, Marvel games lately, so it's good to see Thor finally get, their shine now. So, what's one of the main things that all the gamers could really look forward to? Because you know you got to do the game justice. So, what you got in store for us?
Sure. I mean, I think the biggest thing is the epicness of this, right? I mean, Thor's not your traditional run-of-the-mill hero. He's not going after bank robbers and low-scale guys like that, right? He's like a godlike entity. So, you got to build levels, you got to build enemies that are on a much larger scale. So we got guys that are like 50, 60 feet tall. We have environments that are just vast. So when you're running through them and you look out in the landscape, you're like, wow, this is huge, right? Yeah. Thor becomes like a little fish in a big pond in that situation. And that's sort of what you have to do, right? He's nearly invulnerable. He's got a powerful weapon. You've got to build enemies in environments that challenge him, right?
All right, now check this out. Everybody knows about Thor and the hammer. Like, that's what everybody like knows him for. And that's when you get that hammer, you feel like you like the strongest person in the world. You're a god. Now, you mentioned this earlier, but I wanted to get you on camera saying this. When you are God, you got to have God-like enemies to kind of match it up. So what type of enemies are we going to see in Thor, and what do Thor have to do to really get a hold of these enemies and destroy them?
So this is a great thing about it, right? So, in the movie, they're just going to touch upon Thor and his history and lore, right? But Thor's got a huge, rich heritage, right? He's got so many comics. He's got so many stories about him, right? He's got so many enemies like Surtur and Ymir and Ulik, right? So we can pull from all that wealth of information and take these huge, well-known characters from the comics and bring them to life, right?
Okay.
So, like I said earlier, like these huge guys are like 50, 60 feet tall, right? So how are you going to interact with these people? How are you going to fight them, right? Because they're large. You can't just walk up and hit them in the ankles, right? Because that's not very fun, right? Right? So you got to be able to interact with them. So you got to climb on them, right? You got to be able to move around, and you got to be like damaging them. So like Surtur, for example, he's got a huge sword. So if he's whiffing that and he kind of hits into the ground, you can run up the sword, jump on Surtur, and then start pounding on him or casting your god powers.
Hold on, I gotta cut you off. Now, is this all pre-scripted, or do you do everything that happens on screen? Because if you look at like one of my favorite games in the world is God of War, you know what I'm saying? And you also got, Castlevania, Lord of Shadows that just came out, and a lot of this stuff is like, it's motion cap where it happens automatically and you just push the button on screen. Are you telling me that you don't gotta just push no button on screen? Everything is real time?
Yep, that's totally it. So you choose where you want to move around. You choose what attacks you want to do. It's not like just you waiting on the screen for a button prompt, hitting it and watching it. You're actually physically doing it. And there's weak points on this guy. So like Surtur, for example, his face is weak, right? But he's got armor as well. So you got to move around, try to damage his armor, maybe get to his front, maybe jab your hammer in his eye, which pisses him off, right? Yeah. But he's trying to grab you this whole time. And so it's not easy. You can't just stay in one place for a while, or else you're going to get knocked off. He's going to slam you into the ground, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is totally, fully under the player's control. It's a difficult thing to do, but I think in the end it's worth it. People want that interaction. Thor's a badass, right? And you want him to see physically be punching the guys, hitting them with the hammer, so that's what we're trying to do.
All right, now I got a sick question for you right now, all right? Now, comic books, there's so many people that live and die, like, for comic books, right? Now, considering there's so many, like, versions of Thor and so many comic books, like, the story in the actual game, like, what comic book are you pulling it from, or is it a collective of comic books? Like, how do you really generate this story, considering there's so much, like, material out there to work with?
Yeah, that's really challenging, right? There's like 600 plus issues of Thor. It's a huge backstory, right? So we worked with Matt Fraction, who right now is a great, he's writing Thor. He's awesome, right? So he worked with us to really write a compelling story that takes us across these different worlds of Thor's, unites all these characters. But it's great. He's obviously a talented guy. And what's great about it is that even if you didn't watch the Thor movie, right, you can jump in this game and get understanding of Thor, right? We build upon that stuff. It helps if you watch the movie, but you don't have to. The story in itself is already interesting enough, right?
All right, now let me ask you this. Now, I'm not sure if this is what you guys are going for, but in the movies, especially like cartoon movies and comic book movies, Spider-Mans and all this other stuff, the way they look now, they look amazing. And one of the reasons why they look so amazing is because everybody's trying to go that 3D route. You know what I'm saying? 3D's in the movies, IMAX looks crazy. Now we get 3D in the games. Have you guys thought about 3D for this game, Thor?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely think about it. Something we evaluate. You know, we'll see if we have some announcements later. We're not sure yet, but it's definitely just like people talk about the PlayStation Move and things like that. We're always investigating these new formats. You know, stuff that may work, we'll try to get it in there. We still got time, so you may see some surprises out of that.
Well, you mentioned PlayStation Move, and I was actually about to go there simply because I saw that in the video that you guys got the Wii version, and he was talking about how it felt good to swing that and all this other stuff. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, I know Thor has a lot of moves, a lot of special attacks and everything. We're gonna get to that, but I'm gonna tell you something that I experienced playing this game, Dead Space Extraction. When you play Dead Space, right, you could be shooting like this, but then if you turn it sideways, the alt fire comes up. So I was like, yo, that's crazy. So imagine if Thor had, like, you know, the PlayStation Move, and you could swing your hammer, but let's say you turn it to the side and it does different moves, or just the gestures alone, it'll give you that much more power as if you are Thor. Have you thought about those gameplay, like, mechanics?
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's like, the move is a difficult thing, right? I mean, we're obviously evaluating things like that, but it's come so far late in the development cycle. We're almost sort of done, right? So it's kind of a challenging to do, and we don't want to be a situation where, like, oh, we're just kind of throwing move in there. If we're going to do what we want to be compelling, right? Everything in this game is so well balanced, so well done with the controller, that we don't want to tarnish that with, like, sort of just haphazard, like, PlayStation Move support, right? So our main focus is merely making the controls tight, making it feel really visceral, making it feel in your face and interactive, and that's our main goal.
All right, now gameplay wise, move set. I need, like, you gotta let us know what type of moves, what type of special godly moves you're gonna see with Thor. The reason why is because with all those comic books, I know there's been like different type of levels of Thor. Like Thor goes to extreme. You know what I mean? So will we see, like, not just the Thor you see on screen right now, but will there be like unlockable different versions of Thor with different special moves? Talk to me. Let me know what's up.
So yeah, we might have some unlockable Thors. We're gonna talk about that later, right? All right. But the cool thing is that, you know, this combat is very customizable. So you're gonna grow, unlock moves. We have a Valor system in the next gen version where you can sort of specialize and decide which route you're going. So you want to build up your storm powers, you want to build up your melee attacks, you want to build up your hammer. You can choose.
Wait, hold on. You gotta hold the belt, son. You gotta hold the belt. I didn't even know the game was that deep with gameplay and variety. I continue, please.
So you know, if you like the hammer, for example, you build that up. The max upgrade for that is the hammer's charged with lightning, so it's permanently imbued with lightning, so you can damage people, they get stunned. You know, when you're upgrading the god powers, like for example, the wind attack, right, becomes this huge like hurricane that sucks up enemies and things like that. So you can decide how you want to do that, because we want to have that customization. If you're a younger gamer, you can kind of go through this, you can have a fun time, but we also wanted to add that depth, and that goes across all the SKUs. So even the Wii, I think people are going to be blown away by the depth of combat in the Wii, because they're probably expecting, oh, this is kind of a kid's game, it's kind of geared to that. It's easy to get into, but there's a surprising amount of depth in that, and the DS version. So
what?
Yeah. So
that's sick. Okay.
Yeah. So we want to make it accessible to everyone, but if you're an older gamer, more experienced gamer, we want you to go in there like, wow, there's a lot of depth here, there's a lot of hidden stuff. That's what we like.
All right, now, how long? Now, you said that the story may span like around 10 hours or anything like that. Now, once this game is complete, like, everybody loves online multiplayer and stuff like that. Now, me personally, since the Marvel world is so huge and Thor has had so many battles, this is an idea from me that I think you guys should add to your game as DLC or whatever you decide to do. But every epic battle that Thor has had, it'd be great if you guys added a game mode strictly of those battles. Like think about it. People go to the comic book stores to see this one battle, Thor versus Hulk or Thor versus Wolverine, like just whatever. And you guys had the opportunity to make this happen in a game that'll really come to life, because you could show it in such a detail that has never been experienced before.
That's true.
Is this something that you guys would like to do, since I brought it up?
Well, we gotta see how well, everyone go out and buy Thor, and we'll see if we can do some cool DLC afterwards. We'll see. We'll investigate it.
Alright, cool. Now listen, you heard him. Go out there and buy Thor. Now listen, I'm telling you right now, I'm not the biggest comic book fan, but I'm a fan of the superheroes in comics. You feel me? If I could fight Thor versus Wolverine, just with everybody that's in the Marvel world, like a special mode for it, I will lose my mind. So you better go out and buy it. If not, me and Steve's gonna come to your crib, and I'm from Brooklyn. It don't matter where he at, because he with me. You feel me? So one love and God bless. It's your boy Hip Hop Gamer. Shout out to Signature Hits. My dude is holding the camera right now, so shout out to y'all. And is there any shout outs you want to make as well? And before you make a shout out, is there one thing about the game you could tell the fans that will get them so hyped and really pumped waiting for Summer 11?
Well, I just want him to be aware that, like, we're not making the same game on every platform. It's really catered to the specific platform. So you're going to see a lot of stuff in the next-gen version you're not going to see in the Wii version, next in the DS. You got to get all the games in order to get the full experience. So go out and buy multiple copies of each of the games.
Wow, I like that. All right, shout out to all the gamers out there and all the fans of Thor. Don't worry about it. My man Steven and the rest of the team did it justice. And shout out to my girl Anne-Marie who just walked in here who's about to kick me out. So one love and God bless to her. HipHopGamersShow.com. Peace.
Whosoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor.